14 of his 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the #1 ranked contender in the world by the IBF, Filip El Animal Hrgovic.
Well, here comes El Animal, unbeaten Filip Hrgovic, Olympic bronze medalist, mandatory challenger for the IBF World Heavyweight Championship, of course, held along with all the other belts by Alexander Usyk. And he wants his shot, but I guess he's risking all against Daniel Dubois, Andy.
He is, and I think he was probably told that he would need to, because he got given a pass at Christmas. I don't want to be mean about Mark Demori, but he was never going to win that fight, and we know from the setup here that being given that kind of fight, he's the only person I can think of really who's been allowed that luxury. So the next time he boxed here, it was always going to need to be in a real fight, which is what this is. He was always going to need to put his ranking, his IBF #1 ranking, in jeopardy, and that's definitely what he's doing against Dubois. Hrgovic, like Eddie said, he likes to come out, throw some good sharp shots, let you feel it, and then box at his own pace. And if you let him do that, and he'll start cuffing you around, and then you've got problems. So I feel like Daniel does need to be a little bit brave in this one. He cannot allow him to settle into that kind of tempo. It doesn't mean you stand there and just swing or go out there all guns blazing, but I feel like as a younger man, as a more naturally athletic man, and he can punch too, he does need to try and keep that tempo quite high and trust his ability to sustain it, and if necessary, if he doesn't get the stoppage, if you blow a bit of a gasket, just hang in there.
Well, look at Daniel Dubois, just a bit of shadow boxing, getting himself nice and ready. I mean, Daniel Dubois, Triple D, is always in tremendous shape, but he seems to be more kind of toned. There seems to be more definition than ever from Triple D. I know he's working very hard in camp, and look, he's going to need to have put in absolutely everything in training camp against this guy. Let me ask you this. There's been a lot of talk about the whole sparring stories, right? Frank Warren mentioned it earlier. They probably did 4 or 5 times they sparred, and you know, it'd be mixed results. But Filip Hrgovic is absolutely adamant that what he did in those spars will still sit in the head of Daniel Dubois.
It's kind of hard to say, really. Some fighters differ when it comes to what spars mean, particularly when they happened a while ago. But if you had the better of them, then you can take something from that, because you had the better of it and you know that the other person knows. And they'll be telling themselves, but that was 4 or 5 years ago, it doesn't mean anything now. And that's the logical way to approach it if you're Daniel Dubois. But if you're Hrgovic, you'll feel like, listen, when I look at you in the eyes, we both know what happened last time we were in the ring together. Okay, it wasn't on fight night. So that's a real tangible thing you can take if you're the person who came out of those episodes on top. But Dubois will feel like that's ancient history and not really that relevant. I like this fight a lot. As soon as this one was announced, Hrgovic, you have to make him the favourite. But we were talking about momentum earlier on. Hrgovic is undefeated, so you think, well, he's got great momentum, but he hasn't boxed that much.
No.
It was an indifferent display against Zhang. I wasn't massively impressed against Dempsey McKean. It was a gimme against Mark Demori, whereas Dubois has got the momentum to take into this from the Jarrell Miller fight. I'm not saying Jarrell Miller is a top 10, top 15 guy. He isn't, but it was still a big box ticked because he was put under a lot of pressure that week by Frank as well, who said basically, if he can't do it against this guy, then he's not what we thought he was, and he came through. So he's got that momentum.
He certainly has. He had to ask himself some questions in that Big Baby Miller fight, and I think his dad actually helped him answer those questions. Let's head over now very shortly to Thomas Treiber, who's going to announce Triple D Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Now let's welcome, representing Queensberry Promotions, coming to us from Greenwich, London, England. He brings a professional record of 20 wins, 2 defeats, 19 of his 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBA regular heavyweight world champion and the #4 ranked contender in the world by the IBF, Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Come to Wembley to beat him on Wembley, like Croatian national team beat Great Britain national team 4-2, if you remember. So that will be nice.
Just listening in on the ring walk music there. That's a Filip Hrgovic quote. Here comes Daniel Dynamite Dubois. with a little bit of It's Coming Home. Great choice. We're joined now by Hamza Shiraz as well, alongside Andy Clark. And Hamza, let me just get your reaction to Daniel Dubois' ring walk music.
He means business, doesn't he? He definitely means business. I mean, being around him all week is giving off that energy as well. So, you know, it's definitely a win for Queensberry there.
Is he kind of unofficial vice captain the way he's carried himself this week? What do you think?
He's a man with very few words, to say the least. So I don't know about that, but he very well could be.
He could be the one who leads by example a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I said, being around him, he's definitely switched on. So if anyone's to lead by example, it's him.
He gave us a few words at the press conference last time that were entertaining against Terrell Miller, so maybe we'll get something out of him tomorrow. But just to turn to your own fight, I bumped into you in the hotel lobby yesterday, and I said to you that this is the kind of fight where all this time you've spent out in the USA is going to come to fruition, I think, because he will bring that kind of American, you know, couldn't give a who you are attitude, but you've had that for a long time now.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, if I didn't have that and I had an opponent like Ammo in front of me, I think mentally I could have been in a different place to where I usually am fight week. But I've seen it. I've been in with these loudmouths. I've been around them. I've trained with them. I know how they work and I know why they do it. Listen, when the cameras are switched off, he's actually a decent geezer. He's a nice guy. But as soon as they're switched on, the tail comes out and whatnot. So I'm used to it. I've seen it. I can see right through it. And I'm looking forward to a great fight on Saturday.
Could you see him chasing his tail on Saturday, Hamza?
I mean, listen, I don't think he'll be doing that because I don't plan on going the full distance. There comes fights in your career where you actually intend on not just winning, but putting a beating on your opponent, and this is one of them fights for me.
When I looked down your record last week and earlier this week, I didn't spot any fighters on there who I knew to be southpaws.
There's been one. Is
that an adjustment for you?
Not really, because like I said, when you're out in America, even when you're preparing for Orthodox, you always get southpaw sparring anyway. It's just, it is what it is, and yeah, it's nothing to be worried about.
And you've done all those rounds with Janibek as well. I mean,
exactly.
It ain't going to get better than that.
Done over, like I said, 100 rounds with him in one camp. I've done over 100 rounds with him, and this was when I was at 154 as well. So I'm definitely a different man to then. So if I could do what I was doing then, I understand sparring is not the same as fighting, but the concept is is the same. So as long as I use my attributes and use it well, I should be fine.
And the fact that you're happy to come up and chat and you seem very relaxed suggests to me that the weight is okay.
Yeah, no, the weight is good. The weight is good. We're all on point, a few pounds over. We'll lose them probably tomorrow night and then ready for Friday weigh-in.
Has he said anything in the build-up to this fight that's even a little bit irritated you?
Not really. Nothing. It's quite hard to irritate me. I'm a pretty cool person. More time, everything just goes over my head. It's just fun at the time. It is what it is. But like I said, it just comes. You can just sense the testosterone between us both. And like I said, it comes to a point in your career where you want to put a beating on someone. This is it, because I want to go out there and stamp my authority.
And what are you expecting from him at the press conference tomorrow?
I don't know, to be fair. I don't know. Definitely something different, because he likes to be different. But I'm just going to be me and do what I always do.
Hey, it's worked so far. Best of luck to you, Captain Hamza
Cheers,
Shiraz.
Thank you. Thank you, Andy.
Hamza Shiraz, doesn't he look the part? It's what I mentioned to Frank earlier. Those shoulders look broader. The chest, it's more pumped out. That's a man happy with the pressure of captaincy. Probably not even a pressure to him, probably a privilege.
Yeah, he looks every inch that. He looks every inch that, and that's a good thing, because when you're coming into the biggest fight of your career, that's what you need. You need to go in there with that total conviction that you've done everything you can in preparation, and that allows you to banish doubt, really. That's what fighters tell you. If you've ticked every box, then when that first bell goes, you know that you couldn't have done any more, and then whatever unfolds to an extent is whatever unfolds. But he does seem in a really good place, and I think that extra bit of responsibility of having the captain's armband, if you like, I think it does. I think it suits him, doesn't it?
Yeah, listen, there's different types of leaders. We know that there's leaders there's like a Roy Keane who sort of, shout and scream and get people by the scruff of the neck and say you need to do better. But sometimes there are quiet leaders who maybe lead a little bit from
it would appear to flick that switch quite late, so he doesn't waste any emotional energy unnecessarily during fight week. And as I said, that's a good example to set. But then when he needs to click in, he can do it.
Well, let's hear this announcement of Deontay Wilder.
A record consisting of 43 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, 42 of his 43 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder.
Well, here comes the former long-reigning WBC World Heavyweight Champion, Deontay Wilder, coming out to a bit of sweet home Alabama. And of course, Saturday night is Alabama Power versus Chinese Power. It's Bronze Bomber versus Big Bang. And this man here that you're looking at is the Matchroom captain. If he does what he has done so often in his career, which is win a fight by knockout, he will get 4 big points for Matchroom.
Absolutely, and he is still well capable of it. That much we do know. I'm just intrigued to see what kind of performance we'll get from him, for all the reasons that we discussed over the last couple of days, for the reasons that we discussed with Frank. The desire and the hunger to be in the ring is still there. If it wasn't, then he wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. He doesn't need to be here. He's a long-reigning world champion. He's made piles and piles of money. He's hugely well respected. His legacy in the sport is secure, but he's here because he still feels like he can thrill and shock and entertain and surpass his current achievements. That's why he's here.
Well, here is a young man who is also looking to become a world champion, Mr. Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois. How are you, Daniel?
I'm good, I'm ready to go.
I know you are, I can tell. And I love the ring walk music that you had, a bit of It's Coming Home. Whose idea was that?
That just happens, man. You know what, I'm in the mood, I'm in the vibe, I'm just feeling the whole atmosphere, and yeah, it's my time now.
Have you got something for us at the press conference tomorrow?
We'll see.
That's a yes, maybe that's a yes.
I love it, because the last time you surprised everyone. You're getting really, really good at these press conferences.
Yeah, well, you know, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. What really matters is on Saturday, and that's what I'm more focused about.
Have you pictured it? Have you imagined it? Have you gone through it in your head? What's going to happen on Saturday?
No, I've prepared for it. I've trained for it. I've visualized it for weeks and weeks. It's now just about ticking over and peaking right on the night.
I don't feel like you're going to give away your game plan, but I've just got a feeling that you might be looking to start quick and make sure he doesn't really settle.
Well, it's a fight. You're going to go out there to go out and fight. It's a fight, you know. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I feel. That's what it is. I'm ready to go.
And being part of such a big show, Deontay Wilder, of course, behind you as well. What have you made around being around these other heavyweights? Are you enjoying it, knowing that you're amongst them, and you know you could be fighting one of these guys soon as well?
Well, we're in the same division. That could have happened. So, you know, I'm the young guy coming through, so I need to make my dominance known, and this is my time.
And how close by are you keeping your dad on Saturday night? Because he was great in the last fight. He really gave you a good kind of talking to, right?
He was, yeah. Hopefully, you know, yeah, definitely. He's there, he's part of the team, he's been with me all the way. So, yeah, he's definitely my right-hand man.
Best of luck to you, Daniel. We're going to let you go. Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, a huge moment.
He's ready to go now, isn't he?
He's ready to go. Listen, he just, I'll be honest, Andy, he fist bumped me on the way out, and I think he's caused bruising. I ain't even going to lie, I think he's caused some bruising there. But look at Deontay Wilder, he's caused plenty of bruising in his career, so many knockouts, and Big Bang Zhang, he looks like he's enjoying himself.
He absolutely does. These are two magnificent characters. They really are. He's just having a little dance off stage there. He's got some rhythm, he's got some shapes for a big lad, but they're just a pleasure to have around, aren't they? They really are. And every day I think about this fight, I can't make my mind up as to what I think is going to happen. I can make cases for all kinds of scenarios. What we do know is what Frank said to us earlier on, and Eddie said the same. This is absolutely massive for both of them. Whoever loses, their time at the top of the heavyweight division realistically is over.
Now fighting out of Bloomfield, New Jersey, USA. He was a 2008 Olympic silver medalist and now as a professional has a record consisting of 26 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw, 21 of his 26 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBO interim heavyweight world champion, Zhilei Big Bang Zhang.
Hey, Dion, your bronze bomber and Big Bang and you.
Fantastic, fantastic work from Majestic, the DJ there. I love the use of a lovely little quote at the start of it from our social media clip, and then out comes Big Bang, making his way to the ring now. Huge opportunity to deprive Matchroom of points on Saturday night. He will be taking on Deontay Wilder, their captain. And speaking of Deontay Wilder, we are with the coach, Mr. Malik Scott. How are we?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, great to see you. So listen, I guess the main question around all of this has been, has Deontay Wilder rediscovered the bronze bomber? Do we know yet? Have you seen him?
Yes. Well, one testimony, a huge moment, is the way that he rededicated himself over the last 5 months. And over the last 6 weeks has been the most violent and the most assertive I've seen him in training camp before he won the world title against Stavern 1. So this was a mental adjustment, that's all. He had to just rethink things. He came back. He's back. I actually believe I told him today that he has the opportunity to show these people and show the whole world that he could be better. He could have a great performance and be better than he's ever been before. So the Bronze Bomber has returned, but the better side of the Bronze Bomber has returned. Now, this is the better half.
Can I hit you with a bit of Rocky 3? Is this a Rocky 3 type situation where basically in that film the word around Rocky was that he got civilized, he got too comfortable, he got beaten by Clubber Lang, he was doubted by everybody, he went back to basics in Apollo's gym in LA, sprinting on the beach, and then he won the rematch?
Yes. Specifically Rocky 3 is where Sylvester really lost his hunger. And that right there, that was a lesson, not just in boxing, but everybody in life. Sometimes we can get a little bit unfocused, a contentment can get inside of us, but real champions, this is a great opportunity for Deontay to show his greatness. And I believe he can do that, and we have the perfect opponent to do that with. He's dangerous enough to keep Deontay alert, but he's big enough to be right there for everything Deontay want to hit him with.
I'm just curious, what are we looking at weight-wise for Deontay Wilder? It's always a question, because he's a kind of a more slender heavyweight. I mean, he hits like he's 400 or 500 pounds, but he's more slender. Big Bang, we know what he is. He'll be 270, 280 in there. What are we expecting weight-wise from Deontay Wilder?
He should be between 217 and 222, maybe a pound or two heavier, maybe a pound or two lighter. Size won't be, in my opinion, the factor here. It'll be about the positioning, setting this big guy up, but being alert, protecting yourself, but being assertive and being aggressive and being very violent. And that has been the main thing for this training camp: violence, assertiveness, but also being dressed down in defense when it's time to be. I can't wait for you guys to see him Saturday. Y'all gonna be very impressed.
There's also a bit of a subplot as well in the trainers versus trainers. Sean George, a long-time friend of yours, I understand 17 years you guys have known each other. How does it feel to be going up against him?
Well, I've been telling everybody, not just Zhang has been in my dreams and in my sleep and in my film study, but also his teacher, which is Sean George, somebody I knew since I've been 17 years old. We come up in this game together. We used to film study together. So it's more than an honor not to just go against Zhang with Deontay, but also go against another fellow teacher and friend of mine. But I have every intention on getting him out of there as well. I'm trying to mess up everything they got going with Deontay Wilder, and we're going to get it done Saturday night.
I'm really curious as to what it's like training a very unique athlete like Wilder, because the way he delivers, he can knock people out from seemingly any angle at any time. Against Helenius, his feet were together off the floor, and he knocked him out with the right hand to the forehead. And if you speak to
You're talking about Ortiz?
Helenius, really. And you talk about, I remember talking to a doctor about that, and he said to me, it's almost impossible to knock somebody out hitting them front onto the forehead.
Yes.
To what extent do you try and make adjustments to him, or is part of the job really just knowing when to leave well enough alone?
I just believe that the difference between Deontay Wilder power and a lot of these other guys' power is Deontay can knock you out from